I'll have the bailiff retrieve those, please, and return those to you. Those weren't exhibits, so I'll have them returned to you, Ms. Blake.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Pryor, cross-examination once you're ready.
Start out early. How can I address you? May I also call you Miss Heidemann?
Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Heidemann, as part of the exhibit that the state described as the James and Elena story, were you able to determine whether there were chapter breaks in this story?
In the emails that were sent, it appeared there were chapter 1, chapter 2. I forgot how many chapters exactly there were, but in some of them, yes, and others, no.
Okay, so like if I'm referring to page 9, it says end of chapter 1, and then it starts as chapter 2.
Right.
So can we presume that this was another book that Chad was writing?
I don't know if he intended to publish it.
Okay.
Doesn't. I'm not
But
sure.
obviously referring to something as chapter 1 and then breaking it up and describing chapter 2 as the start of the next series, that would seem to suggest that at least there was an intent to put this in book form, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Is there any indication, any of the emails, that the intent of this was to write a book?
Not that I could tell, no.
Now, as far as the search for the word Malachite, you mentioned that Chad looked at that in March of 2018, correct?
Correct.
He didn't know Lori Vallow at that point, correct?
Correct.
And then it was Lori Vallow who initially did the searching for the Malachite, correct?
I would have to look back at the report to figure out which days.
And
Who
then
was
as far as
first?
the correspondence is concerned, Chad Daybell's one of those was his response to the Lori Vallow searching for Malachite.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Lori Vallow searched at least did most of the Google searching for the Malachite. Would you agree with that?
I don't know about counts.
Okay.
Who did the most searches? I don't know. I'd have to look at my report again.
You talked about the temple records and you provided a long list of temple records. There was a frequent visit by Chad Daybell to the temple, even when he wasn't visiting with Lori Vallow. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
He was a regular attender of the temple.
That's correct.
Okay. Regardless of his infidelity or the affair that was going on, he was still attending the temple, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Did you come across any information that on one of the visits to the temple, when Lori and Chad were there, that other people had attended at the same time as Lori and Chad?
It's possible that other people were there. Yes.
People who they knew as part of a group. Did you see anything that suggested that?
I only had the records for Chad and Lori's cards.
You didn't happen to look at Melanie Gibb or anybody else at the same time who possibly could have been there?
I did not have their records. No.
Okay. Actually, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pryor.
Ms. Heidemann, through your review of records, were both Chad and Lori looking for Malachite?
They were.
Were those searches occurring when their spouses were still alive?
Yes.
Did Lori and Chad, in fact, end up married in Hawaii?
They did.
What type of rings did they exchange?
Malachite rings.
Were Melanie Gibbs' kids missing?
No.
I have no further questions.
All right. That will conclude the testimony then of this witness. Witness has been returned after previously testifying. Does the state have any intention of calling the witness at any other time going forward?
No, Your Honor, she may be released.
All right. From the defense, can she also be released? Is there a subpoena, Mr. Pryor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, well, that'll conclude your testimony. Thank you for appearing and testifying. You may go ahead and step down, and you're no longer subject to the court's exclusionary order. All right, the state can call its next witness.
Judge, at this time, the state would call Dr. Angie Christensen.
All right.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yeah.
Next, be clear. Right there, and there's a coin right there.
Wonderful, thank you.
Mr. Wixom, Mr. Pryor, could I have a very brief sidebar, please?